Hi guys, this is my third and last attempt. Oh God, let me fix this. All my blessed assurance is showing, and I'm not wanting people to think I'm trying to get a husband on the scope here. Anyway, it keeps either freezing and then one time my phone actually rung. I hate when that happens and it bumps you off. And but I just want to kind of I'm gonna bring it to an end. I hope you guys are planning a great weekend. I'm actually taking some time away from some work. I have a deadline that I have to meet, tonight. But what I do is when I get stuck on something, I walk away from it. I just figured I would have more fun and I could clear my head with you guys. So I really want you to talk back. But we were talking about, do you want marriage? Do you want sex? Well, I mean, what do you really want? What do you have? You have friends that are sharing with you. Do you really want marriage? Do you really want just the sex of it? Because I'm not seeing people flowing like they really want to be married. Marriage calls for a lot of commitment. It calls for a give and take. It calls for each person making concessions. It calls for understanding the scope of dream and vision that the other individual have. It calls for a lot of unselfishness. It calls for maturity. And I'm not seeing that in a lot of people who say that they're meeting somebody, they want to be married. Do you want to be married for the sake of being married? Somebody's like, yeah, you're talking to me about right now. Do you want to be married just for the sake in the name of being married? Well, let me share something with you. I do believe that on my first marriage, I've only been married once, and that was it, because I learned a lot from what I went through. I thought I would have been remarried by this time because I feel like I'm the marrying kind. But I think I actually may have gotten married the first time for the sake of being married, for the sake of having someone in my life to say that, I have committed to someone and someone's committed to me, that I'm with someone, that I'm not alone, okay? Because I had that missing father syndrome thing. And also, I did not have that example before me to even show me how to choose a husband. So I know the Bible talks about a man that found a wife, finding a good thing, and he did. He actually came and he found me. He actually worked at the same company I did. He took me to lunch. He courted me. So the way the Bible says it, I actually did it that way. However, it still didn't work. And let's just touch on that right now. Thank you for the love, but let's just touch on that right now. Just because someone else is saved and you're saying that they equally yoke with you because they're a born-again believer, for those people who are Christians, that is not actually how it works. The person, of course, needs to be a born-again believer. If you are, you need to be equally yoked, correct? Okay? However, is that person, the saved born-again believer that's for your life? Is he or she the one that can carry you in the spirit? Or are you equally yoked with someone that can deal with your destiny, that can deal with the purpose that you've been born in the earth for? I've counseled so many customers. They're customers to me, but they're clients. And I've counseled so many men and women of God. They're married, lay persons, and then people that are secular in a marriage situation. The bottom line is that holds true across the board, whether you saved or not saved. If that person cannot handle what you've been called to do on the earth, you got a problem. Because I'm going to tell you, when God is actually in it, when that is really actually your heartbeat, the heart that beats, that when yours is not beating in some life situations, I'm using that metaphorically, because if your heart is not beating, you're dead. I'm sorry, my kids say, oh, wow, you so corny. But I'm just saying, some people act like they don't understand when I use some things metaphorically, so I needed to just explain that. But anyway, when you're actually equally yoked, when your heartbeat, when it's almost like non-existent, that person is endowed and equipped to literally have enough heartbeat for the both of you just for that moment. I've seen powerful men and women of God. They have calls on their lives. They're doing great things, and they're being hindered. They're struggling. They're going through hell behind the scenes, and because they have someone that they're with, that they said that they know that God had them to marry that person, or told them that that person is their husband or wife. Okay, I think a lot of us are lying on God. I truly, truly believe that. I don't just believe it, I know it. I've had dreams and visions about certain individuals in their marriages or whatever, and some of them I was led to call, and then some of them who came to me, a lot of times I can really see it. Okay? And I don't care if you're with someone 25, 30 years. If Jesus didn't plant it, he is not responsible for watering it. He's not responsible for holding it together. And people have the audacity to say and think that just because they got married in a church by a pastor and the scriptures were spoken over them, but however, if it is not of God, then it's a lie. You can take and do what you want to do and then put God on top of it. It's still not going to make it work. Yeah, and people will say legalistically, you know, wherever the word is sent to, it's going to perform that thing. Yeah, but not if it's a, I'm thinking about Abraham when he did with his first son, Ishmael. If it's an Ishmael situation, somebody was helping me out. Thank you, whoever that was. If it's an Ishmael situation, God doesn't have to honor that. It's still going to be a mess. Look at the mess that it was when Abraham and Sarah had Ishmael. You know, with the handmaiden, the servant, and everything. It was a mess. So you can do this stuff and then slap God on top of it, and it still doesn't work or act right, and then you're saying, I'm believing and I'm trusting God. I'm sorry. You know, you got to be real with this. Let's just stop putting this responsibility on God on things that he's not responsible for, because he didn't do it. Now, if both parties actually say, you know what, I knew I shouldn't marry you, and the other person say, if you really just want to be honest and you get together, I do believe that if the individuals would say, I just do, just from the experiences I've had with God, you could go to God together, you can repent of saying that, God, you said that and you didn't, and then actually pray and ask God to honor and to give you favor and to reconsider. I do believe that when we tug on the heart of God and that we understand and we take responsibility for our errors, I do believe that God will give us the grace, because grace is unmerited favor. It's what we do not deserve. We do have a loving God. But however, listen to this. I'll never forget when I got divorced and I went to my senior pastor and I shared with him what was happening. And my senior pastor said, let me tell you something. He was very blunt, but in love. But he was very truthful. And today, that's what keeps me. I thank God for that. He said the call, the assignment that you have in your life. He said God is not going to allow anyone that is not a part of your life to stop what he is doing with you. So see, it's according to what you're called to is what's going to happen with that. That's my personal experience. That's my testimony in it. And I share it with others. So, you go by your conviction and what you believe that you know that God said to you. But for those who are just wanting to keep it real, I think we need to go ahead on and get along with what the reality is for our lives. And that's definitely not leaving God out. That's definitely having him in and having him the center of it all. Because that's our keeping and our staying power. But it's the truth that really sets and what really makes you free. I'm ready to be free in all of this. I want to be married. I want to have a mate. But not at the risk of God not honoring it. It is just not worth it. I've done that already. I'm over it. I could have been married right now about 3 times. I'm not hard to look at, y'all. I'm really not. I'm really, 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 really not. Okay? My daughter, she's listening to in the next room, but actually it's the truth. But I learned I'm not afraid of recommitting to anything. I'm over that now. I've been set free, healed, and delivered in my emotions and the pain and the hurt from it all. Been delivered. But I want to do it in God's timing. I want to do it when He has blessed me to have that individual come in my path, across my path, and discover the love of His life. You know, the love that is going to cover and protect me when I'm not even thinking about it. And also being a whole individual. Sometimes we're trying to get past the point in our lives where, you know, we're actually in some vulnerable situations. And I just really believe that local churches need to really deal with these very, very real issues. You're ministering to people, but you're sleeping with your husband or whoever. Let's just put it right there. But you're telling these people, you know, get that man out of your house, keep your legs closed, but they're going through this and they're trying to stay kept. And you keep telling them that, but you're not dealing with what the reality is for their lives. Okay? You're acting as if they're a robot and they're not human. Okay? You're teaching them the word of God, and you have to rightly divide it, and most churches are supported by single females. Okay? It's a reality. Leaders, you got to go in, and you got to hear God on it. And single women and single men, you know, and like I was telling you guys on the last one, I actually paid $300 to go to the workshop and got some real insight on ways that we can handle this in the local church. But most leaders are wanting to be sticklers with this, and when your people are messed up, when they're not being fulfilled or whatever, or they're not getting the sound, grounded teaching in a relevant way, they are not whole. They're actually operating in a putt-putt mode. It's just the truth, okay? You use the word of God, but you have to rightly divide it and you have to apply it. Jesus was able to do that on everything that He did, okay? And then you guys have to also realize that you can box people in, or you can have them skewed and messed up. But what you will have on your hand is you will have people that are getting sick in their bodies, and because they are all pinned in, and they don't have anyone that's actually sharing with them what they need to really deal with and that they're dealing with on a daily basis. Let me tell you something. There are coping alternatives that people do. Okay, let's just keep it real, and we don't have to get in detail with it, because some of y'all couldn't take it. Okay, I'm being too real right now, and for me, this is really like surface. I wish I could go deeper, but it's like the church is not really ready to do that. And so everything that I've actually said so far on this scope, I had like 1 or 2 people much early in there to show some love. So you're not loving this truth. You're not tapping anything. You're like, okay, you know, whatever. But you know, everybody's got to deal with it in a truthful manner. And the sooner that we do that, the better off we really are. I'm not a happy camper. I didn't think that. Meaning not angry or anything, but you couldn't have told me I would have been single this long. This is not a picnic, okay? I'm the marrying kind. I'm a very social person. I travel a lot, and you know, I just realized like the 18 years that I've been divorced, I think out of 2 of the 18 years, I realized on my last birthday that I actually had someone not necessarily in my life, but someone I was probably starting to talk with, and they just happened to be around on my birthday. You know, how cute is that? Who really wants that? No one really wants that, okay? The sacrifices that some can make, others can't, okay? I've gone like huge, long periods of time, and it's just been, it's just been really, you know, awful. But I don't expect other people to do what I do, because it's not a great thing for me. It's just not. And so we have to deal with realities. And we got to stop telling people, sit down, full-grown women with challenges, responsibilities. You know, just sit down. You're talking to them like they're 16 years old. All the reasons why they ended up being on their own and by themselves in the situation that they're in was not all their fault. But then we leave them responsible for it all. And then men are just doing what they want to do. You know, double standard big time. You even got women that do the double standard against other women. What is that? Okay, so we got some real issues to deal with. God takes a lot of heart in his single moms that have the responsibility of these children that they have to raise, and trying to do it all, something that was set initially as a male's role, and too many women are having to pay it. You know, so really, is it just you want sex, or do you really want marriage? So for African American females, you're going to have to start opening up your mindset and your thought flow of, do you really feel like you just have to have an African American male? Are you opening your options? You're going to have to start thinking about opening your options. You're going to have to start praying, asking God to help you. Do some research, you know. And then the other thing is, you know, knowing what type of person. And then, like I said, I'm getting too old. I'm not about to do a project. I'm not about to do potential. You got to already be doing it, walking in it. And then projects, like I said, for me, I don't have the tempers right now to do a project. You know, when I was 19, 20, 21, that was project time. You know, I'm just not into doing a project. You got to come as correct as humanly possible. Okay? I'm not perfect. And I have some issues. And so I regard that. And he can have certain things that are not so complete, but he has worked to a point where it's just certain things that have to be tweaked on both of our parts, and we have enough as a person and whole where whatever those disparities are, we can work with them together. Does that make sense to you? And then we can go on, do what we have to do, and we can support each other, and we're packing, you know, what will help that other individual or that person to do what they have to do in our lives and in their own lives. And then I got to see it in action. And then making sure that that is the person for you. Some people are getting married because they are afraid to be by themselves. Some people are actually getting married for financial convenience. I've had men and women confess to me that they got married for financial reasons only. And I've had a lot of people to share that with me. A lot of people are living together because they're just tired of struggling and doing it by themselves. They actually confess that. Then I have situations where the man and a woman together, they both decide, okay, both were in different relationships. They were friends, or maybe they had dated before. Well, because they may have stayed friends, or they saw each other and they started talking, they decided to just start kind of talking again on the phone, and then they realized, well, you know what, we didn't work out, but we know each other, and we don't have to learn new things. Why don't we just live together, and you do your thing, and I do mine, and we don't really have to report in. I mean, you got all kind of scenarios going. Let's just keep it real. But then I've had issues where I had to do counseling, where people decided, okay, we're not a couple, and so we both do our own thing, But some of them, this is the crazy part, they're sleeping in the same bed. This is just crazy to me. They're sleeping in the same bed. They say they have separate lives. But what starts to happen is one person says, okay, I'm going to live by that. But the other person starts getting jealous. Okay, and they start looking at it as it's a relationship. And actually, a lot of times, it's the women. Women, we cannot do it like that. You know, we can't do the mechanics of it. Get up and then go be with someone else. It's real. It's real. So I'm going to cut the scope. Nobody talking to me. Y'all don't want to hear it. So, you know, we're going to just, you know, say goodnight on this one. But it's a very real situation that we're dealing with, guys, okay? So take care and be able to, you know, in your heart of hearts to answer that question. Do you really want to be married or you just want sex? You know, decide what's really going to work for you in the long run. I'm talking to men and women, not just females here. Because believe it or not, there are men that are actually getting messed up dealing with different women. Men are more mechanical, but you have men that need more. You know, they're into connecting emotionally, you know, spiritually. And they're getting up as well with certain things that they don't want to really have, that they didn't think was going to hang over. They thought that they could just hit it, get it, and keep moving, and something keeps bringing them back. You know, even Steve Harvey gives that testimony. So it's real. So guys, good night on a Friday. Take care.